Muted. Oh, there we go. Hopefully people can hear me as they join. I'm gonna go live on Instagram here. Okay, there we are. Hello. Can everybody hear me? I don't know if you can put a comment in on Instagram. I'm still learning how to use this live feature here. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. People are joining. This is cool. This is my first go at streaming to multiple platforms at once. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Dana Mincer. I'm a board certified family practice physician. And you might be wondering, why does she look like she's on the floor of her office right now? Well, that is because I am going to do a 15-minute session for mindfulness, breath work, and yoga. Um, you might also be wondering, why is a primary care doctor telling me to do breath work and yoga? I'll get into that. I do think that it is one of the most effective ways to calm your central nervous system. And I really, really, really can't emphasize enough that um, a regulated central nervous system is the best gift that you can give to yourself and others by far. So let us wait for a couple more minutes just to see if anybody else wants to pop on. I'll give them maybe like 5 minutes. I did not like advertise this or anything. I just sort of threw it up. I am usually in the offices late on Mondays and Tuesdays, and so I'm going to take off my Converse sneakers that I wear to the office. I tend to like to take my shoes off or my socks off too, because it's a grounding technique. So yeah. So if you have a comfortable place or even just a mat, even if your kids are running around crazy around you, it's okay. That has happened to me many times. If you can just put some headphones in, that would be helpful. If you have water, that would be great. You do not need a yoga mat, but a yoga mat is helpful sometimes. And my goal here is really to, I started my primary care practice a little under a year ago. I left employment because the world needs more from doctors, right? I went back to school at 28 with a 6-week-old infant because I really truly felt like it was something that was a calling for me. Um, and I couldn't help people as an insurance-based doctor. I couldn't help people because um, there was no time, you know. We were having to separate out constantly, like, the physical from the mental and the spiritual, and you just can't do that. It's just not possible. Um, some of us are really good at compartmentalizing, which is a survival mechanism, and that's great, and it serves its purpose at times. Um, but I was seeing, anxiety, depression. I have a background doing outpatient addiction medicine. I was seeing um, all of these like manifestations, eating disorders. I love working with people who are suffering with eating disorders in the moment, because it's all really comes down to a dysregulation of the central nervous system or the autonomic nervous system. If you can stay calm and remain calm despite external circumstances, and you can be in the present moment, then for most people, and this might be a controversial statement, the diagnoses of depression, anxiety, eating disorders, addictions, they don't exist, right? It's that maybe in certain moments you feel anxious, maybe in certain moments you feel sad, but the constantness, if that's even a word, of those conditions, like the permanence of those conditions, sort of cease to exist when you're able to bring yourself back to some version of regulation. And it's funny how in Western culture we really shy away from these things, or say we can't do them because we've attempted once or twice and our brains are like just moving 1,000 miles per hour. We have been raised in a world of complete external stimulation. I'm 41, and I was at that beginning of the computer movement, I think by seventh grade or so, actually earlier than that. We had the floppy disks initially, um, but, by the time I was in high school, a lot of friends started having, well, it was car phones first and cell phones, but it just constant external stimulation. It started with cable TV as well. Um, and there's nothing really in our culture that promotes going inward, right? In Western American culture, there's not really a lot that promotes going inward. And this really, I think, breeds a lot of the illnesses that we're seeing today. Now, am I saying that mindfulness and meditation and yoga can be a cure for cancer? I'm not saying that that's the case all the time. Um, but I am saying that um, if we can regulate our central nervous system, stress does a number on the body. We calm our stress levels, we calm our cortisol levels. And I guess what I was saying is a lot of people think they can't do it because they'll sit down to try to meditate and it's like, their brains are on fire. It's just like, my brain is going, I can't do this. This is too agitating for me. I can't do this. Or even just a yoga practice. They might sit down and mistakenly do a gentle yin yoga practice, right? So it's with yin yoga, it's the worst yoga you could do to start with. And I will tell you why. Although the postures are very simple and you're holding them and it's calm, your brain, if it is already on fire, it will be even more on fire. It's like torture for an ADD brain. Ask me how I know. So, um, all of these things take practice, right? If you are a tennis fan, you're not just going to expect to like sit on the couch and watch tennis and then go out and beat Andre Agassi, or Roger Federer. That's not happening. Like you have to get up and practice if you're even going to have a slight chance at maybe taking a set off of them. Um, and so it's funny how we attempt to do these things, and maybe it's because the agitation level is so high in attempting for mindfulness. Sorry, one second. Oh, that's my grandmother. I'll call her back. Um, so maybe it's because the agitation level is so high and it's just so uncomfortable because there's nothing to prevent you from your thoughts at that point because there's no external stimulation. The purpose is to just go inward. And then people say, "Oh, I can't do that. I can't," or "I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible," or "I can't do." And my challenge for you is that you can do it. And my challenge for you is to create a mantra once a day. Maybe your mantra is, "I'm meeting myself where I am today, and I'm releasing any judgment." That's a great mantra to start with. So if we sort of use that as our mantra for tonight and just say, "I'm meeting myself where I am tonight, and I'm releasing any judgment," meaning you're going to still have thoughts. Like thoughts will always come into your brain. Our brains are sort of on auto, and you have control of which thoughts you give power to. So when you observe that you're having a thought that's judgmental, you're releasing it however you want to. Um, so I want to start off quickly by doing or quickly. I want to start off, that's the Western world, by doing a breath work and yoga technique. And I can show you how to do these things. And it really only takes about 5 to 15 minutes a day. If you just make it, just commit to this for 90 days. That's how long it takes to create a new habit, a new positive habit, and to help to start to rewire your brain toward a state of calm. Um, Commit to 5 to 10 to 15 minutes max per day. Put on a YouTube video if you need to. There's a lot of good resources I can, post in the video after I get it posted online, for free resources for breathwork and YouTube. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So I want to start by just doing a simple breathwork technique. You can sit comfortably however you want. If you want to be in a chair, that is totally fine as well. Again, meet yourself where you are. Um, the breath work technique is called alternating nostril breathing, and there's various reasons why we use these techniques in the yoga world. Um, the right side is tends to be more of like the masculine side. That's how this is taught um, in uh, in the basic teachings of yoga. And the left side tends to embody more of like the feminine energy side. Um, but this is just a simple alternating nostril technique where to calm your central nervous system. So you can take two fingers if you want to take these two fingers, your thumb and your first finger. You can take your thumb and your middle finger. And I like to do my thumb and my middle finger, right? So right now my middle finger is on my right nostril because I'm using my left hand, and my thumb would cover my left nostril. So you want to start by pushing down on your left nostril and just inhaling through your right nostril and hold. And then switch your fingers, push down on your right nostril and exhale through your left nostril. And then hold. I'm going to give you counts in a second. Then you're going to alternate. So you're going to inhale through your left nostril and hold, and then release the right side and exhale through your right nostril. So the motion looks like this, right? Just think about jumping over, I don't know, something. Okay. Let's see. I lost my screen. Okay, so um, why don't we try 4 seconds, slow 4 seconds in with a 4 second hold, and then a 4 second out on the other side, and a 4 second hold. And I want you to notice some people feel some anxiety on the holds. Some people feel more anxiety on the inhalation hold, and other people feel more anxiety on the exhalation hold. So I just want to try this and just notice if you're feeling anxious, it's okay. Just remember, you can breathe at any time. You don't have to stay for the whole hold. Okay, so I just want you to take a deep breath and exhale. Okay, now we're going to close off the left nostril and inhale through the right nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Open the left nostril. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the left nostril. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And exhale through the right nostril. 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the right nostril. Hold. Exhale left nostril. Hold. Inhale through the left nostril. Hold. Exhale through the right nostril. Hold. One more time. Inhale through the right nostril. Hold. Exhale left nostril. Hold. And then take a deep breath in. Fill up your belly, fill up your chest. Fill everything up, expand your chest, open as much as you can, air in, and big sigh out through your mouth and relax. Now I want you to just quickly notice what you're feeling right now. That's really important. Just take a second. Did anything calm for you? This technique can also be really great for if you're having a headache. Um, but in general, it's simply a calming breath work. So I want to move into just some simple yoga poses, and I just want to walk you through some options if you're having some mobility issues. The physical asanas of yoga are really meant to prepare your body for the shavasana at the end of the meditation. And I find that, especially in this Western world where we're so active, being able to release your energy in some way, shape, or form is so, so helpful so that your brain can then relax afterward. So, um, if you're having any knee pain, you do not have to come onto your knees, or you can put pillows under your knees as well. So, I just want you to come onto all fours right now. Okay, so this is all fours for those of you who are not as familiar. If you come back down onto your butt like this, and you can have your knees open or you can have your knees more closed, whatever's comfortable for you, and then you lean forward, this is child's pose. And this is your resting pose. This is just a general resting pose. It does not have to be your resting pose. If you need to come out of this, that is fine. This is a relatively advanced resting pose if you think about what it takes in terms of mobility and flexibility. And if you haven't been doing these things for a while, then this pose might be difficult for you. Okay. The alternate to this, and we're going to just do it some cat cows, right? Is you can sit in a chair. So pretend I'm sitting, and you can simply just do arch and then arch your back in the opposite direction. These are called cat cows. Okay. This is sort of your cat with the back up, and then this is your cow. Okay. So that's an option. So I just want to go through 10 of these, and I want to go through with the breath, because part of what I love about vinyasa yoga is that you're coordinating your breath with your movement so that you're not just sort of doing nothing. Your movement is your moving meditation. Okay. So again, you can do this seated. So in general, you inhale when you expand and you exhale when you contract. So we're going to inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. You can go at your own pace now. Why don't you do a few more? If you want to hold a little longer than I'm holding, that's totally fine. Again, you're meeting yourself where you are. Okay, and if you stray from your breath, that's fine. You might notice your mind is wandering off into various different things. That's totally fine. Just bring yourself back to your breath. I want to next go into, and this is probably better if I take this off, a basic downward dog position. And again, this might not work for you depending on your mobility, and that's fine. One option is if you have a steady chair or 2 blocks is a possibility. They're called yoga blocks. You can use that as well for your posture. But I always encourage people just to try. Even if you can hold it for just a minute or two, it's better than nothing. Okay. Just make sure I'm still on the camera here. Okay. So downward dog, you can actually start from the position that we were in, and you simply want to push into your hands. You can keep your knees bent, right? And the goal is to actually tilt your pelvis back and up, almost like and you want to pull your shoulder blades back down, right? So that you can imagine a line from your buttocks to your hands. Now, a beginner position would be to simply keep your knees bent like this. And as you get more advanced, you can start to straighten your legs so that you're in a full downward dog. It feels good to sort of walk it out as well. And I typically will really just try to focus on my breathing. Try to make your inhales and your exhales about the same length. And really don't be afraid to breathe into your belly first. We are such chest breathers, and that makes our breath very shallow. And when you breathe into your belly, you actually stimulate your vagus nerve, which calms your central nervous system. Okay? If you get tired, you simply just come back down and take a break. Okay. It's going to take a little while for most people to build enough strength to be able to hold that position for a while. Okay. So that's your downward dog position. So I want to just practice. We're going to do some cat cow and then go into downward dog. Okay. So you're going to do arch, inhale, arch the opposite way, exhale, and then push up into downward dog and hold for a few breaths. And you can, if you want to, experiment with sort of like bending one knee and straightening the other. That's fine. Introducing a little extra movement is fine. And then slowly come back down to your knees. So that is a simple sequence that you can just go through a few times with your breath and see how that works for you. Okay. Um, After downward dog, for example, in a typical vinyasa flow, you would come up and you can either, the simplest way is to just simply walk to the forward fold. Now I'm here, but I've been practicing yoga for a long time. Okay. So I'm going to come this way. So you might be here and that's okay. You might be here and that's okay. It doesn't matter. Just forward fold. It doesn't matter how you do it. Okay. You could put your hands on the couch. It doesn't matter how you do it. The purpose is that you're stretching the back of your body and you're also inverting your body, which is promoting blood flow back to your very important vital organs. Okay. So from downward dog, you walk to forward fold. I'm just turning so you can see me. And then you do this thing called a flat back, right? So in this position, you want to pull your belly button into your spine and hold it. Okay. So pulling that belly button into your spine. And you want to think of your back flat. And your hands could be on your knees to support yourself. And I'm picking my head up just so I can see the screen. But in general, everything wants to be in one straight line. So flat back and then come on back down. Okay. Sometimes you might have a class where you're going to do a few of these, especially when you're warming up. And then you're going to roll up, 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 roll your spine. You can go as slow or as fast as you want. Oh, you can't see me, but you'll be in mountain pose, which my arms are just straight up like this. Okay. Let's see if I can move my mat back a little bit. I'm too tall. There we go. Okay, so you're in mountain pose. And in mountain pose, I really want you to just focus on rooting down into the ground, right? This is a grounding pose. So your feet are hip width apart, which is typically if you take your two fists like this, that's about hip width apart. So it's not together, two fists between your feet. And I want you to think about rooting up into the sky. So straight hands, pull your belly into your spine. That's not because we want you to be skinny. That's because it promotes strengthening of your core and stabilization. And I want you to really feel your toes on the ground. So pick your toes up, wiggle them around, and then put them back down. And in this pose, try to shift your weight back and forth from your toes to your heels and see where you settle. Is there a mid ground that you can find? Right? Is there an intermediate, balanced pose that you can find where the weight is equally distributed between your toes and your heels? And then I want you to just picture your body being freely pulled up and also pushed down into the earth at the same time. Take one or two more breaths here. And then you can bring your hands down to prayer, or you can bring your hands simply down to your side, whatever feels good to you. Okay. The next step in this flow, in this sequence, is to bring your hands back up, and we're going to do a fold forward. This is usually a flat back fold forward. So you can bring your hands down like this forward. You can bring your hands down like this forward. You can bring your hands down outward. You can bring your hands into a goalpost first to open up that chest, and then come on down and fold forward. Okay. And I really want you to try, if you can, if you're down, try to sort of let your neck hang loose. And then we're going to do one more time, halfway lift or flat back. And now we're putting our hands down and we're going to step back either into all fours, okay? Or if you want something that's a little bit more challenging, you can step back into plank pose, okay? You don't want to be like this in plank pose if you can avoid it. This might be what you look like initially, and that's fine because you're meeting yourself where you are. But you do want to try to straighten out your plank, pull your belly button into your spine, and you might go into plank just for a second and then put your knees down, okay? And then this is called chaturanga, where you come down almost onto your stomach. So you're gonna lower. The advanced version is here, lower, come through into upward dog, and you can pick your knees up off the ground or relax, and then back into downward dog. Okay? The beginner version is simply come as much as you can into plank, knees down, and I want you to just lower yourself down onto your belly and then slide through. And this is called baby cobra. So you're simply just arching your back up, squeezing your butt muscles, squeezing your glute muscles for protection of your back, and pulling your shoulder blades back down to your buttocks and to the center line of your body. Okay. And you can be able, eventually you should be able to sort of reach your hands up off the ground. Okay. The more advanced position is once you've got a baby cobra, you want to pull forward into upward dog. So the next step is simply just arch your back up. This might not be accessible to you. A variation is to simply come on to your forearms and hold. So I want you to just for now come onto your forearms and just take some nice three nice deep breaths in and out. If you notice yourself hunching, try to just put yourself back into alignment. And remember, shoulders back and down, stand up tall, like I'm sure they told you to do when you were a kid. And then you can come on back down, and we're just going to either push up to hands and knees first, right? And then back up into downward dog. Okay. So these are the very basics of a yoga flow, some of the very basic positions. And again, remember, you can always come into child's pose. I personally like to have a wider leg child's pose. And when I come down, it's just a very relaxing position for me, but that might not be accessible for you. Yoga has a ton of props, including huge pillow bolsters. And a lot of times, we modify by just laying on a pillow bolster so your body's actually upright. But I just wanted to get a feel for like what the basic poses look like. And I know this was definitely more than about 15 minutes. I will post some of my favorite links once I get this up on like reposted on social media. The great thing is there's so many free resources out there, especially in the yoga world, that you can literally just go to YouTube and type in, if you have 10 minutes, 10-minute yoga flow, and just experiment. You'll get to know people's different styles of yoga when you watch their videos, and you can choose one that works for you. Um, the last thing I wanted to show you was a stretch that's so important, because most of us are super, super tight in our hamstrings. From the perspective of a personal trainer, I was a former Division I athlete. This is huge. And we already did a standing forward fold. And one option, again, you can always bolster yourself up on pillows here as well. So here, I have a pillow here, and I can show you what this looks like. If you're on a pillow, that might help a little bit. And you want to focus on just straightening out your body and folding forward. So initially, you want your fold to be with a flat back as much as you can. And then once you get to a point where you're like, yeah, this is a little uncomfortable, then just relax your body over top. The other option is you can always put a bolster or a pillow in here so that you're not folded. You have something to rest against. Everything in yoga is modifiable. Okay. So you just want to fold forward. And I want you to, again, focus on the breath. The one thing that I didn't go over yet is deep ujjayi breathing and what ujjayi breathing sounds like. And I don't know if you can hear this with my headphones in, but it sounds like ocean waves coming from the back of your throat. So you breathe in through your nose, and then you constrict the muscles in the back of the throat. And it's not coming from your nostrils up here. It's definitely coming from the back of the throat. So, and it really does help as well to focus on when you breathe in, you're expanding your belly and then pulling your belly back in. So you could stay in that ujjayi breathing for the majority of your yoga practice. So I just want to practice that ujjayi breathing with a forward fold right now, because this is one of the basic positions that you should know if you're going to be starting some version of yoga practice. So again, breathe in to expand and out, forward fold. Okay, now I'm going to show you what a flow looks like, and a flow just means you're one breath with one movement, right? So breathe in, breathe out, and I might flat back my body again. So breathe in, breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, expand, flat back. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, and come on back up. So you can essentially employ the practices of your moving meditation, a breath with a movement, even if you're just staying in one posture as well. You don't have to go through that sequence of downward dog, walk your feet up, flat back, okay? Um, you can employ this in any posture, and it will also help you to gain more flexibility and more confidence in going into the posture. Um, I think that that's probably all I have for you tonight. I hope that this was helpful. And I'm very grateful that those of you who came on decided to stay on and join. Again, I am a board certified family practice physician. I opened Love Health Direct Primary Care this year because I just truly felt like I needed a different setting in which to practice true medicine. And true medicine involves mind, body, and spirit. We have to stop separating out the physical from the rest. True medicine involves helping people to understand how to regulate their autonomic and central nervous systems. It's so, so important to overall health. And when I think of overall health, for everyone, including myself, my patients, my family, I think about longevity and ability. And what I mean by that is I think about how am I keeping you healthy to the point where in 50 years from now, you have 50 more years, you're able to continue enjoying most of the activities that you want to be able to enjoy, right? The huge part of that that I have seen, in Western medicine, we're trained in the hospital systems, and that's where the sickest patients are. Every single patient, every single frequent flyer in that hospital has similar characteristics. One of them is decreased mobility, decreased flexibility. When you stop being able to move your body and having flexibility and decreased stability, right? things start to break down. Your joints start to hurt. Um, your breathing gets more shallow. You're stimulating the vagus nerve less, so your cortisol levels go up. And so these are all common themes across the hospitalized patient population. Um, and these are things that we can influence just by simply engaging in 5 to 10 minutes of simple activity once a day, just making it part of our self care routine. So I hope that this was helpful. And I'm going to try to do these weekly on Tuesday nights. This Tuesday, I'm going to be out. I'm actually having surgery on Thursday. This has been an ongoing process, and it was a well thought out part of my decision for preventive medicine for myself. So I probably will be out for next week, but I'll be back on the following week. In peace and health.